Hello there, Orwa Usopp here. I'm back and I am really cranky, but I'm not letting it show in my voice.
Greetings, comrade.
I left the water running 24 hours ago when I went to bed, and, well, roughly last night before, sleep before last when I went to bed, but something still froze apparently, and I was without water yesterday, and I was figured it would be solved by today, but no. Alright, we're going to be checking the illegal files today.
Company citizens. As you are aware, we are all unfortunate victims of the oppressive regime of the Omni Brain. Whether we like it or not, which we don't, we are expected to devote our lives to the service of a giant corporation which treats us as little more than machines, and at times credits us with considerably less intelligence. We don't have any information about company headquarters, where it is, or whether the claim that loyal citizens are rewarded there has any truth in it. It is likely, however, that this is just another attempt at bribing citizens into unquestioning loyalty. Our research has uncovered evidence of similar, though less successful, mind-control experiments of the 6,000th period, which saw tens of thousands of citizens rioting in protest at the revelation that the prophet Omni Corpus, your friend, had managed to live for 400 periods by virtue of being a rather convincing blow-up doll,
Yikes.
and not because he was the Lord of Ages, agent of the everlasting. The subterfuge was discovered when an installation failure led to a fire-walking miracle going embarrassingly wrong.
Wah, wah. Alright, there we go. Had to stop the scheduled scan.
Greetings, comrade.
I have it set to go off at 5 in the morning when I'm not usually awake, but today I am, even though I don't want to be. But hey, there's another red one.
The company. The company is the enemy. It is the agent of the Omni Brain,
Shame,
controlling
shame!
everything in the galaxy in order to provide for all citizens and make them happy.
Well then, that
In
sounds
reality,
nice.
it oppresses and manipulates its unknowing subjects in
oh
a futile
no!
attempt at self-preservation. If the company ever did genuinely serve the needs of the life forms as it claims to, it long ago ceased to be our servant, and
No
has become
kidding.
our master, punishing us for even minor violations of its directive charter.
Well, shame on you.
The freedom fighters, therefore, aim to break the company's hold over us and restore the liberty which is our right.
Okay. So liberties are right? I mean, I know we in America believe this, but there's a lot of countries where they don't.
The directive charter.
Yay, charter!
This should be defied at all opportunities. Although this is admittedly hazardous, low-level disobedience is an irritant to the company and will eventually weaken it to the extent that we can overthrow the tyrants.
Lots of
There
low-level
are numerous
disobedience?
ways
I don't know.
in which violations can be achieved without major inconvenience to the perpetrator, mostly involving washing up liquid, which won't actually get you anywhere but will cheer you up a bit. See our forthcoming supplement, How to Break the Directive Charter and Not Get Caught, for many useful suggestions.
In other words, you're playing pranks. That's great. The freedom fighters are pulling pranks.
Executives, particularly wheedling and spineless citizens, who obey every directive to the letter and have probably already reported their mothers to an enforcer for burning the toast. Unauthorized combustion is a violation of some directive somewhere, no doubt.
Blah. That one was shorter than expected. That's all you have to say about... Uh-oh, the army.
Exploratory armed forces. The business end of the company's assimilation program. Planets, which the Omni Brain has selected for looting and pillaging, are first battered into submission by this fleet of killing machines. The initial engagement is intended to be decisive, disabling all major communication systems, but where possible, sparing major military installations for examination. If it does not cause major inconvenience, some of the population is allowed to remain in one piece and reasonably alive, and are then fortunate enough to become servants to the oppressive regime of the Omni Brain.
How is that fortunate, sir? Sorry about leaving the mouse on screen. I really can't see it. The mouse cursor disappears during cutscenes.
Oracle Information Systems. Welcome to the Freedom Fighters database. This download is brought to you by comrades Reg and Mandy.
Yay!
We hope that you will enjoy using this information in your sworn struggle to overthrow the evil Omni Brain and destroy the tyranny of the company.
Uh-oh.
Using our limited resources and intelligence, we have provided alternative information to the official Oracle version,
Sorry.
as and when it seems relevant.
Much better. Sorry about
If you have
that.
any questions about this database, please don't ask us, as it's far too dangerous. For example, only a few cycles ago, dear comrade Scott was discovered extolling the virtues of neo-cubist art in a valiant attempt to subvert the dominant classical ideology promoted by the company, and dispatched to Cygnus Alpha. You're on your own, basically.
There's always an art
You are
critic.
warned that possession of this database is a violation of just about every directive there is, so it's probably not a good idea to offer to look up sensitive material for passing enforcers. Have a nice day.
Nonsense. I'm sure some of the... Whoa, what the heck just happened? Oh, well. I'm sure some of the directives are about sheep or, you know,
Greetings, comrade.
proper way to sort nails. I'm sure they can't all be about this friggin' file.
The Ministry of Galactic Uncertainty. The Ministry is essentially a tool by which the company manipulates less developed planets such that they are motivated to improve their technology for the company to steal.
Dang.
Our intelligence indicates that research and development projects run by the company have become so inefficient and chaotic that it is preferable to wait until another culture develops something of use and then take it by force.
Interesting.
We believe that many of the Omni Brain's so-called innovations, such as holomail, teleport, and the early interplanetary drives, were in fact obtained in this way.
Well, shame on him. Bad Omni Brain. Well, we're not going to take that anymore.
Planet Classification System.
Yes, that.
The means by which the company designates planets with the potential to develop something it can steal.
Sorry, I moved the
The
mouse.
company
Moved the mic
has
while I
a
was
remarkably
sneezing. It's
laissez-faire
quiet.
attitude towards developing cultures, by which rather than conquering them when they are weak and unarmed, they are left to develop in their own way in the hope that they will produce something unexpected and potentially useful. Once this cultural diversity has been demonstrated, however, they are immediately invaded and forced to conform to the suffocating galactic culture of Omnicorp and watch really bad sitcoms. There's a contradiction in here somewhere, but you try explaining that to the exploratory armed forces.
Sure, I will. Just make sure you give me a lead-lined bunker well below the surface of the planet to do it from via video.
Planet Earth, currently under manipulation by the Ministry of Galactic Uncertainty.
Oh no!
Crop Circle Division. This small planet has little of potential interest to the company at present.
Hey.
Despite numerous visits from various company bots and planting of helpful technologies, the indigenous population have failed to develop to an advanced stage.
Bite me.
They do possess an interest in space, but their fledgling exploration program is not centrally controlled, uses unmanned probes, and is restricted by the use of primitive propulsion systems. One interesting aspect of Earth, however, is a remarkably sophisticated and enduring false belief system, aspects of which were incorporated into the company's doomed mind control experiments of the 6,000th period.
Oh dear.
See also company citizens.
Saw that. Oh, I had the mouse off of the oracle when
Greetings,
it
comrade.
finished. Therefore, it closed the bloody oracle. I don't want to close the oracle. We already know what we're already told about biosupplements, but hey.
Biosupplements are used to manipulate the moods of citizens,
Oh no!
making them apathetic and less likely to realize how utterly dull and meaningless their lives are.
Wait, doesn't apathetic
Far
mean
from
dissatisfied?
being merely nutritional
No,
supplements,
apathetic means listless.
they now contain a cocktail of mood-altering chemicals which are designed to prevent the inevitable widespread discontent which would result from citizens actually thinking.
Ah.
Fortunately, we have been working on a formula which can partially negate the effects. Called Factor A, it can be used in powder or spray form and lasts for up to 8 clicks. It is commonly given to citizens who may be of use to us, who are then kept under surveillance to determine whether they are suitable for induction.
Good to know. Anywho, let's get on with it.
Greetings,
We got more of
comrades.
these to read, dude. Well, not read, but have read to us. Or I guess you could mute it and read them. I don't know.
Sleep time,
To all my hearing-deprived
a
viewers, I guess you
mandatory
are reading
period
them, if I have
of
any.
drug-induced coma.
If you can't hear, I
The
guess a
concept of
narrated
sleep
Let's Play
time
is pointless.
was ostensibly introduced as an efficiency measure, but is actually used in order to prevent groups of citizens whose combined skills pose a threat to the Omni Brain
Goodness,
from meeting one another.
that's well thought out, dude. Organizing the sleeping schedules so rebels can't meet. Interesting. They've done a very, very poor job of it, though. Wait, what did I... Biosupplements was not the last one I watched. Okay, I've skipped 2.
Cygnus Alpha, a top security concentration camp on the far edge of the galaxy, now home to many of our best subversives. As nobody has ever escaped or been released, we have no information other than its location at 456442 234 322. Personality restructuring. A period of brainwashing during which a person capable of any original or independent thought has what little spirit they possess squeezed out of them. We do not know exactly how this is carried out, though we are fairly sure that hypnotism is involved at some point. Comrades who have been sent for correction cannot be recovered even using Factor A, and are thus lost to the cause.
Alright, that's pretty darn bad. Let's try not to be lost to the cause. Not that we wanted to be a part of this cause, thank you very much. Yes, yes, boo, boo, boo. Ooh, the Omni Brain itself. Hello, Omni Brain.
The Omni Brain. Very little is known about the Omni Brain. The company has been very successful in keeping all information secret, and many of our operatives have been killed as a result of attempts to break the many layers of security surrounding the figurehead of the company. It remains the main objective of our struggle to locate and destroy the Omni Brain. We believe its great intellect to be the primary force holding the massive complex network of the company together. While it still exists, the many races under its control can never be free.
Well, freedom is a good thing, so let's keep listening. Freedom to listen. Of course, we only have freedom to listen because they don't know we're listening and we're hiding in a corner of a prison we escaped from, but hey, you know, Miracle Mud?
Miracle Mud.
Yay, Mud.
Another huge con by the company's Miracle Group.
Never heard of it.
Our tests have unsurprisingly revealed that Miracle Mud does none of the things claimed for it, although it does make a huge unremovable mess on anything it is applied to.
Okay. I don't remember hearing anything about Miracle Mud at any point in the game. Did I miss something?
Credits.
Money.
A unitary currency brought in by the company to enable them to monitor transactions closely. Each citizen has access to one labelled account only, and all transfers are registered and screened by the company. Some other forms of currency still exist, but are becoming less useful as the credit system takes over, making illegal or other unauthorized dealings virtually impossible.
Yeah, but if you completely monitor the way people's spending, you know exactly what they're buying. So since the Omni Brain also controls marketing, that's a plus. Plus also he knows people aren't channeling their fans funds. Don't play at 5 a.m. Channeling their funds to subversives.
Omnianto. Official company speak. We are only using Omnianto until such a time as we can develop our alternative fully enough for it to make any kind of sense.
Okay,
Comrades are advised to add elements of what has become known as Earth speak to verbal communications in order to display an open disregard for company policy, making use of the Directive 1.6 trap when challenged. This ploy involves accusing the challenger of also breaking Directive 1.6 by being aware of the words being used.
Huh. Interesting. You know what? That is pretty interesting. I skipped most of the directives, I'll admit that right now, but I'm going to look up Directive 16 because I'm curious.
Directive 1.6.
1.6. 16,
the
dude.
official
Just
and
let
only
the word
language
into
of
your
the
life.
community is Omnianto. All citizens are required to learn it in its entirety before the onset of their 5th period.
Alright, well. Gee, sounds like something I've heard a lot of real people say. They should all just learn English, basically. So, yeah.
Omni Bible. A book containing the distilled teachings of the Omni Brain. This amounts to telling us to love and respect our fellow citizens, but not to let this get in the way of our loyalty to the Omni Brain. Apprehender droids. Military apparatus used in pacifying uncooperative peoples. They form a large portion of the exploratory armed forces and are extremely unreliable. Malfunctions are common and devastating, owing to their high destructive capacity. The worst example is the Class 13, which has the additional complication of its prototype personality programs. This made overriding malfunctions difficult due to their utter stubbornness. As you can imagine, this is not a good thing in a psychotic killing machine with the capacity to destroy half of Metro Prime single-handedly.
Yeah, no kidding.
Difficult to control and unpredictable, these bots are now obsolete and have largely been deactivated due to the prohibitive expense of properly decommissioning them. If discovered, they should not be reactivated under
any circumstances. Why do I think that's going to be relevant?
Greetings, comrade.
Why do I have the odd and scary feeling that's going to become relevant at some point? Relevant, like on some kind of chocolate-covered relevance?
Traitor Buster Mark IV. Watch out for these harmless-looking but insidious toys.
No kidding.
Their everyday function is spreading pro-company propaganda to junior citizens using recorded messages,
Propaganda.
But they also have a hidden microphone to detect any treacherous utterance within 5 meters. The brain part of the doll is actually made from high explosive, capable of causing serious inconvenience to the unfortunate rebel.
Alrighty. Ah, buggery-doo.
Greetings,
yes,
comrade.
Greetings, comrade. I can turn that greeting off, and I did the first time I played, but then I forgot to... it was after a save, and then... Alright, any more red ones? Happy bots!
Happy bots. Extremely dangerous and difficult to fool. The happy bot is the rebel's worst nightmare. They are able to detect unhappiness and discontent swiftly, and the unsuspecting citizen is often exterminated before they get a chance to protest.
Yep, we saw
By
that.
using happy bots, the company hopes to exterminate rebels under the pretext of caring for regular citizens. Factor A, a chemical preparation which negates the effects of the company's mind-control drugs. It is mildly toxic, so can only be used occasionally and in small doses. Difficulty in obtaining the necessary ingredients also limits use. Once the target has been treated, mental freedom has to be maintained by disposing of freedom fighters, heroic but unrecognized and unrewarded task force, dedicated to creating a better way of life for citizens currently crushed under the oppressive regime of the Omni Brain. The long-term plan, complete dismantling of the company's infrastructure, destruction of the Omni Brain, and the construction of a system of equitable and open government under freedom fighters' guidance, is still in its early stages. Our secret headquarters is beginning to take shape, and we can begin our fight in earnest once Comrade Dawn has finished putting the shelves up.
Alright, I am not in favor of beginning a fight in Ernest. He was not the funniest comedian ever, but he had some good movies. Ernest Goes to Jail is most particularly of time you would not want to go to war with Ernest, because he had lightning powers by the end of it. Alright.
Hypno screens.
Hypno!
These are thought
All
to be used
glory to the
as part of the
Hypno-Toad.
brainwashing process when citizens undergo personality restructuring.
Yes, they are.
We think they work by altering the person's state of consciousness using visual patterns and high-frequency sound, such that they are unaware of the passing of time, but are still open to suggestion and are able to follow orders.
Blah.
It seems only a matter of time before the company starts using this on the population at large.
That's not what I want. That is very not what I want to happen. Alright, we're running low on Oracle things. This video is going to be 20-something minutes long. Again.
Traitortv, the free and honest alternative to the company's propaganda channel.
Propaganda.
The company only provides one channel, reasoning that since the Omni Brain's word is absolute, whatever it is currently showing is therefore the only thing citizens should want to watch.
You're an idiot.
Giving citizens a
Or
choice
they're
of
idiots.
channels
The Omni
may
Brain is
also
an idiot.
encourage unwanted decision-making. TraitorTV's existence alone is therefore a major blow against the tyranny of the Omni Brain. And one day, we hope to be able to produce some program to show on it.
No, it appears to be
It
just
can be found on the
TraitorTV.
dial
That's
at
it.
667. Why vid screens can be tuned when there is only one official channel is part of the company's unsubtle ploy to convince citizens they have a choice, when in actuality they don't. It is a tribute to the effects of OMS that such a painfully
what? Painfully obvious ploy works? Yeah, I guess it is.
greetings, comrades.
Yes. Blah 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 blah. Yes, here's the best part about being funny and everybody tuning in to hear me say something wacky. I don't have to worry about being intelligent.
Stardate numbering system, a bizarre and unhelpful way of representing the date. Rebellious comrades who develop an interest in the workings of this system are advised to study the dates in public exhibitions for further data.
Okay, well, I guess that's all the red things, thank goodness. Alright, I'll see you in another video.